holly hanging across the door, neighbors singing tales of yore. It's so close, hardly can wait, waking up on Christmas.
Welcome to the Alsace. We're in eastern France, close to the border with Germany, and in this video we're going to be exploring the Christmas villages of the Alsace. That means markets, storybook villages that look like they've been plucked straight out of a fairy tale, cobbled lanes, endless vineyards, and lots of delicious food. So let's go and explore. After you've seen the winter wonderlands that are Strasbourg and Colmar, and do make sure you check out our videos on these gorgeous Christmas destinations too, then you'll want to explore all of the small villages and towns that surround them. Over the course of this video, we're going to take you on an epic road trip journey to 10 distinctively different Christmas markets, ranging from the classic to the historic and even the unusual. We're now headed into Riquewihr, which is one of the most famous towns in the Alsace, thanks to the fact that it's alleged to have inspired Belle's hometown in Beauty and the Beast. It's surrounded by beautiful vineyards, which are currently leafless, and it was a little tricky to park because it's so popular, but let's go in and explore now. Riquewihr is pretty unique in that it remains surrounded by medieval walls to this day. Now, all of the interior is pedestrianised, and so that's why you'll have to park in the melee outside. But once you get inside, there are Christmas stalls, Christmas decorations everywhere. The two main locations are Rue des Remparts and also the Cour des Nobles, which we'll explore now. But to be honest, the rest of the town is also worth wandering around. You can do it in less than an hour because it's very, very small. Apart from some vine show, there's not very many to-go food options on the Rue des Remparts. This area is really focused on local producers, so you'll find honey, candles, jewellery, that kind of thing, and you can buy local wine by the bottle. When you're walking around all of the little Alsatian towns, you'll find a lot of souvenir shops. Unfortunately, a lot of these are filled with tacky, mass-produced goods. However, there are a few goods that you should look out for that are well worth buying. The first is obviously local wine, which, as I mentioned, can be bought by the bottle. The next is cakes, snacks, that kind of thing, and they keep really well and so are the perfect Christmas gift for loved ones. And the final thing I really recommend buying are the Alsatian wine glasses, which are easily recognizable thanks to their green stems. One aspect of Riquewihr, which is particularly unique and something that you shouldn't miss out on when you visit, is to look up, because you'll see lots of traditional metal signs. This tradition dates all the way back to the Middle Ages, at a time when most people were illiterate, and so these signs would have told people what the business did or sold. Even though Riquewihr is one of the busiest places to visit in the Alsace at Christmas, if you look hard enough, you'll find little streets where there's no one around and you can have the place all to yourself. If you're looking for some food and drink while in Riquewihr and you want to get something to go, then you can head to La Cordée Noble, where you'll find all sorts of local vendors. I think one of my personal favourite things about driving through the Alsace is that you'll come across little storybook villages, and so I do encourage you to stop at these at any that take your fancy. Niedermorschwihr doesn't have much by way of attractions, nor does it have a Christmas market. However, it's probably one of the most charming and authentic Alsatian towns I've ever been to. It's honestly so picturesque around every corner. It's so small here. There's just a bakery, a church, a hotel, and a town hall, and that's it. Niedermorschwir's unique claim to fame is that it is home to the only twisted clock spire in the Alsace. The bell tower itself actually dates all the way back to the 13th century, and it's one of under 100 such twisted spires in Europe. Turckheim is a lovely little town off the beaten tourist trail, but it does have its very own Christmas market, which is a bit special because it's themed around elves. There's lots of really nicely preserved pieces of history here, such as the ancient moat, which is now used as people's gardens, and also some town gates. Although it can be pretty easy to forget when wandering alongside the pastel-hued buildings, the Alsace was actually a major battleground during the Second World War, and this is remembered in a memorial museum in the heart of Turckheim. Because this market is a little more off the beaten path, I definitely noticed that a lot of the prices were a bit lower here than in some of the more popular markets. The market itself takes place directly in front of the town hall. I just love all of the attention to detail, such as this magic well, which is actually a donation collection box. Turckheim dates back to the 14th century, and so it's well worth wandering around the rest of the town to see all of the historic architecture and timber-framed homes. If you happen to have time to stay in Turckheim at night, then this is actually one of the few villages in France to have a night watchman who patrols the village in period costumes on certain evenings throughout the year. Although this is more for touristic reasons now, in the past, in the 13th century, this actually prevented a town-wide fire. Unfortunately, we didn't have time to stop and look at the town after dark, and so we headed to our next destination, Eguisheim. We've just arrived in Eguisheim. This is a delightful medieval town which is quite unique in that it's actually made up of concentric circles surrounding a central chateau. The town itself has a small Christmas market, but the real charm here is all of the beautiful timber-framed houses and, of course, the medieval architecture. The main town square doesn't have any chalets, but there are some very gorgeous decorations here. You'll also get to access the church, and there's also a Christmas fair exhibition in the hall above the church where you can buy all sorts of local artisanal prints and paintings. Next to the central fountain, close to the church, there's also this advent calendar where each day of the festive season you get to see a new historic photo of the town. There are only 2 Christmas market locations here in Eguisheim, and this one is the largest. It's Place du Marché au Sol, and it's still only around 2 dozen chalets. The real focus here is definitely on the artisanal wares, though there is a stand selling churros and another one selling fan show. When you're visiting Eguisheim, don't hesitate to check out some of the wine vendors in town. A lot of them are the people who actually make the wine and then sell it onwards, such as the man that we just saw. We actually bought 2 bottles, and one of them translates into English as Eye of the Witch. It was very tasty. Although we only had a few days to explore, there was so much to uncover that we then had to hop back in the car to reach our final destination of the day. We've just arrived in Guebwiller for Noël Bleu, which translates into English as Blue Christmas. Now you might be wondering, why blue? Well, the reason is twofold. The first is because Guebwiller lies on the blue line of the Vosges, which is a historic area of natural interest. And the second reason is because of the colour bleu de deck, which was a colour created in the 19th century by local Theodore Deck, who was a ceramicist, and he created a kind of turquoise that's still used to this day. The main market location lies in the shadow of the Église Saint-Léger, and there's only around a dozen stalls here, so the main draw of the place is definitely all of the beautiful illuminations. It's also worth noting that the market isn't open every day of the week. It's actually only open on Wednesdays, Fridays and Saturdays, and so do be sure to plan your visit accordingly. Once you've seen the main market, it's definitely worth walking around to see the other illuminations. Even Carrefour gets to have one. Another location to check out is right next to the town hall. As well as the town hall being illuminated, there's an ice skating rink and several more chalets. The next day, we woke up bright and early for another full day of exploring. One particular landmark that's close to Eguisheim and well worth visiting if you have a little free time are the 3 castles of Eguisheim. Dating back well over 1,000 years, the romantic ruins are surrounded by lush green forest and offer panoramic views over the endless vineyards that the Alsace is so famous for. We've just arrived in the beautiful town of Kaysersberg, whose name means Mountain of the Emperor. This little medieval settlement is nestled along the Alsatian wine route, and in 2022 it was actually named the best Christmas market in France by RTL Radio. Today, for the 4 weekends leading up to Christmas, there's a market on Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays. There's around 30 local vendors here selling their wares, but the main draw of the town is definitely the beautiful illuminations, so let's go and check it out. Kaysersberg's Christmas market has been running since 1987 and attracts over 300,000 annual visitors, including me, because this is my 3rd time coming. It's just such a magical destination, and it's really cool because you actually go into the town via the historic town walls. The Marché Paysan is a farmer's market which takes place directly in front of the town hall. It's here where you'll find all sorts of local snacks, treats and drinks. The first thing to note is that most of the vendors here don't accept card payments, and so you'll have to have cash. But if you do, then you'll be able to get some vin chaud. They have both white and red, but unfortunately, even though you have to pay for the glass, you can't take it back at the end, so you do have to keep it, which isn't great for the environment. We also got this pretzel with Munster, and then this Schnackerkuchen, which is like a tart flambé, but revisited apparently. It's got lard on its cheese, that kind of thing. Right next to the town hall, you'll find the authentic Christmas market. This is the only Christmas market location in town. To be honest, in the rest of the town, you'll just want to wander around and enjoy all of the decorations. That is a Christmas exhibition, but to be honest, it's a bit scary. Now onto the real Christmas market. I think there are around 30 vendors in total, and they're all chosen by the town because they are unique, or they're local vendors, or they're eco-friendly and things like that. Why does the street look exactly like Beauty and the Beast? One of the best things about visiting Kaysersberg is all of the beautiful window displays. I really like this one. I think it's meant to be frozen. There's a snowman and a reindeer, and then all of the little baguettes are dressed as Santas. If there's one thing to be said about all of the smaller Alsatian towns, is that it's very good dog spotting. If you're a fan of castles and are wearing comfortable shoes and don't mind a quick hike up, then there's one final activity worth checking out in Kaysersberg. Kaysersberg's castle dates all the way back to the 13th century and presides over the rest of the town. The castle was originally built to block the road coming from the rain, and now a central staircase has been constructed in the ruins of the old tower. It's 122 steps, and at the top I think we'll get amazing views. The castle walls are up to 4 meters in width in some places, so Antoine's currently standing in it and we'll show it to you now because it's honestly so thick. The views from the top are truly amazing. This chateau is actually free to visit, and on a clear day you can see as far away as the Black Forest in Germany. Neuf-Brisach is just a few kilometers away from the border with Germany and also the River Rhine, which is what now separates France and Germany in this region. It's actually pretty unique in that it's completely fortified, and the entirety of the town was constructed in 1697 after the Treaty of Riquewihr, which saw the original Brisach given to Germany, which was then known as the Holy Roman Empire. Today you can wander around the fortified city, and there's also a very unique Christmas market here because the Christmas market here is set in the year 1700. The market usually only takes place on one weekend of a year, on Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays, and so luckily we're here for it. There's a real historic feel. There's straw on the floor. The Christmas tree is actually decorated with apples, which is apparently a historic tradition, and lots of the vendors are selling handicrafts which are made in old ways. One of the coolest things about the market and what makes it so unique is that it's actually split into two parts. So there's a newer part where it's not really 1700 and you have more the traditional Christmas market vendors. And then you have this part which we're in now where everyone's dressed in period costume, and the focus is really on showing you how traditional handicrafts once would have worked as opposed to selling you things. Although the market has a pretty historic theme, I was quite delighted to discover that card payments are widely accepted across many of the stalls. I'm actually surprised by how many different stands there were in the second part of the market. There were dozen upon dozen of stalls. Unfortunately, it wasn't anything we had never seen before, and there were a lot of repeated stalls, so I wouldn't necessarily come to Neuf-Brisach in order to just see the newer part of the market. It was very cool to see the 1700 market, and it's definitely very unique to the region. However, as Neuf-Brisach is kind of far away from every other Christmas town in the Alsace, I wouldn't necessarily come out of your way to see it. Munster is our final Christmas market stop of the day. The tourism board calls this the Christmas market in the mountains because we're currently surrounded by lots of rolling hills and dense forests. Munster itself is famous for Munster cheese, which is a really strong smelling and tasting cheese. The Christmas market is set along Place du Marché, and so it isn't very big. Haguenau is the fourth largest city in the Alsace and is home to a medium-sized Christmas market. There's a few different locations of the market, and you'll find everything from local produce to gifts and food and drink, including mulled wine. It's not exactly a Christmas market food, but we found a stand selling beaver tails, and so we got the maple one. There's also a stand with the real Christmas market mugs where you pay a deposit and then you get your vin chaud in a mug. It's a bit early for that right now though. This is a pastry all the way from North America, and it's deep fried and covered in maple syrup. While there is a tourist bus which takes place throughout the festive season, the easiest way to get around the Alsace has to be with your own car, as this will give you the flexibility to visit all of the little towns and villages you want on your own timescale. Obernai is a quintessentially Alsatian town around half an hour away from Strasbourg. You've got a real charm here as there's lots of timber framed buildings, cobbled lanes and several churches. There's also a wonderful Christmas market which we're going to look at now. Place Nea is home to half a dozen chalets. The main focus here is on food, though there are a few stands selling souvenirs and other trinkets from the region. What's really nice is that all of the streets between each of the markets have been pedestrianised, and so you can wander at your leisure. Lots of the shops have set up little stalls in front selling things like hot dogs and mulled wine. Obernai's main claim to fame is that it is the alleged birthplace of Odile, who is the patron saint of the Alsace and of good eyesight. The best Christmas market location in Obernai has to be that of Place du Marché. Here you'll find a giant tree, a carousel for children, and lots of different stalls. It's also really beautiful because all of the businesses have decorated for Christmas, and so you'll find teddy bears, garlands, and the like. I love all of these mini Alsatian houses, and just behind you can see the first ever hotel I stayed in the Alsace. Hotel La Diligence is very old school but has amazing views onto the square. Place du Guebwiller is the final Christmas market location. It's right next to Place du Marché, and here the real focus is on producers of the Alsace, so you'll find all kinds of treats, snacks and drinks. There's also one food stand which I'm very interested in, which we'll check out now. We got a tarte flambée, which is the Alsatian answer to pizza. Traditionally, it's a really thin crust, which is slathered in cream, cheese, and pieces of bacon. We asked for it without, but I'm sure it will be tasty nonetheless. For more information about Obernai and the surrounding area, you can head to the tourist office, which is on the Place du Guebwiller. Place de l'Étoile is a Christmas market which caters specifically for children. There's a carousel here as well as a mini tourist train. You can even send letters to Father Christmas, although do these letters actually make it to the North Pole? I'm not sure. However, I had a quick look inside, there are a lot in there. We're a bit outside of the city centre now at Cour Attique, and this is a brand new Christmas market for 2024. There are a few gift stalls here. I think there's only 6 stands in total. There's jewellery, crafts from the region, that kind of thing. I like the decoration here and I see what they've kind of tried to do, but unfortunately the festive ambiance isn't quite here yet. Maybe next year. If you love bird's eye perspectives and want to get another view over Obernai, then I highly recommend heading up to the National Memorial, which is dedicated to soldiers lost in World War II and offers panoramic views over the town. The Alsace can get pretty chilly, especially as the sun starts to go down, and so we headed into a little cafe to have a quick tea. This is Sélestat, and it's self-proclaimed to be the capital of the Christmas tree, and that's because all the way back in 1521, the oldest record of a Christmas tree ever was written here in Sélestat. Today you can see a facsimile of this record in the Humanist Library. Now the focus really isn't on the Christmas chalets, and so you won't find very many stalls here selling things. There are a couple of places across the city that do this, but the main focus is on the tree, and so that's what we're going to show you in this town. The first place you want to check out is this indoor exhibition, which is dedicated entirely to the Christmas tree. There's all sorts of festive themed displays, as well as a small area where you can get hot drinks and snacks. The main Christmas market in Sélestat takes place on Place d'Armes. This is where you'll find the traditional wooden chalets with vendors selling everything from snacks to vin chaud to small gifts. As I mentioned, the main focus in Sélestat is on the tree and on decorations, and so if you head inside St. Faith's Church, you'll find a very unique Christmas tree in that it's made entirely of glass baubles. If you head inside just one place in Sélestat, make it the Church of St. George, which dates back to the 13th century and is home to numerous suspended Christmas trees. To be honest, I've never seen anything quite like it, and it's particularly magical to visit at night. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more France travel content. See you next time. Bye!